What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Down Once More. I'm your host, Matt, and I am joined this week by Sage to talk all things the 2024 Mean Girls musical movie reboot. So, Sage, welcome again. How's it going?
Thank you. Fabulous. I am absolutely
Okay.
stoked for this. I can't wait.
Okay. I was thinking about it. I think talking about the Mean Girls musical album is how I
Mhm.
actually found out you liked musicals. I don't remember how exactly it came up, but you said you were listening to it, and uh, I said that I really liked the musical album, and you said you thought it was cheesy and didn't like it. And so we'll
Yes.
get into that later. But that's when we first started talking about musicals back in the day when
Mhm.
we used to work together.
Mhm.
So before we start talking about the movie specifically, I figured I would share a little fun facts tidbits because I have talked about this musical indirectly extensively on this podcast. This musical and the musical movie. I did an initial thoughts when I first saw it because I saw it in theaters before I'd gotten the opportunity to see it live. Then I reviewed the national tour that I saw of that stage musical, and during that, I gave thoughts on this movie as well. But history of the show, uh, it technically originated with the 2002 self-help book for parents with teenage girls by Rosalind Wiseman titled Queen Bees and Wannabes. That was then adapted in 2004 into a movie, Mean Girls, which was produced by Lorne Michaels of SNL. It was directed by Mark Waters, and the screenplay was written by Tina Fey. Tina Fey has been the one constant in like the stage and movie adaptations of this. The original starred Lindsay Lohan as Katie, Rachel McAdams as Regina George, Lacey Chabert as Gretchen Wieners, Amanda Seyfried as Karen, Lizzie Kaplan as Janice, Daniel Franzese as Damien, Tina Fey played Miss Norbury, and Tim Meadows played Mr. Duval, the principal. Then in 2017, this was adapted into a musical. It had its tryout in Washington, D.C. in 2017. In 2018, it debuted on Broadway. The stage musical had a book by Tina Fey, lyrics by Nell Benjamin, and the music by Jeff Richmond, who is Tina Fey's husband. It was directed and choreographed by Casey Nicholaw, which I wanted to call out because Casey also directed Something Rotten. So I talked about that on last week's pod. And it was produced by Lorne Michaels still. In that, Erica Henningsen played Katie, who people who are fans of the Amazon Prime animated hit Has Been Hotel, she plays the main character in that. Sabrina Carpenter did play Katie as a replacement in Broadway for a little bit. A fun little note there. Taylor Louderman originated the role of Regina on Broadway, but Renee Rapp, who plays Regina George in this movie, also served as a replacement on Broadway. Barrett Wilbert Weed played Janice. Barrett Wilbert Weed originated the role of Veronica in Heathers the Musical, or at least on the off-Broadway cast recording. She played that role. Gray Henson played Damien. Kate Rockwell was Karen, and Ashley Park played Gretchen Wieners. And then in 2024, that Broadway stage musical was adapted into this movie, which was directed by Samantha Jane and Arturo Perez Jr. The screenplay was also written by Tina Fey, and the music was updated and adapted by Jeff Richmond still. In this one, Angourie Rice plays Katie Aaron. Renee Rapp plays Regina George. Avantika plays Karen. B.B. Wood plays Gretchen Wieners. Ali Carvalho, who you may know from Moana, plays Janice. Jaquel Spivey plays Damien, who I'm blanking on the name of the music goal right now, but Jaquel Spivey, song that he sings called Inner White Girl. Fantastic. Not a Strange Loop. Maybe a Strange Loop. I don't remember. But he is fantastic in that cast album, and I love that song. Tina Fey reprises her role as Miss Norbury, and Tim Meadows reprises his role as Mr. Duval, the principal. And also, Ashley Park has a small role in this as Madame Park, the French teacher. And Lindsay Lohan shows up as the Mathletes facilitator at the end. So some fun cameos, both from Broadway and the original movie in this movie adaptation. So that's the history. And I guess if you're not familiar with the plot of Mean Girls from its many adaptations, it follows Katie Heron, who was originally in Africa with in the movie and stage show with her parents. In this, it's with her single mother, played by Jenna Fisher, who you may know as Pam from The Office, and who I must say I felt like was awful in this movie. I love her in The Office, but this it was I had a hard time. It seemed bad, and so she wants to have a little bit more of a normal life, and her family comes to the States, and she goes into school after being homeschooled, and it meets Damien and Janice. They're kind of the weirdos, kind of show her the ropes around, and then she gets sucked into the plastics because they're shiny, fake, and hard, and that is Regina, Gretchen, and Karen. And she ends up essentially becoming one of them in a tale of backstabbing, friendship, loyalty, gossip, romance, all the fun things. So that's a little bit about what Mean Girls is. And so, Sage, what is your familiarity with Mean Girls? Were you first introduced to it through the original movie, or what?
I would say I was definitely introduced through the original movie. I grew up with it. When did it come out? Did you say? What year?
2004.
2004. So I wasn't watching it
Mm-hmm.
then, but it I was busy being 2. But
Oh, Jesus. That makes me feel so old.
but I can remember watching it all the time, especially in my teen years. So when I got into musicals, I remember trying to listen into the Mean Girls musical. This is where we first started talking about musicals, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
But I distinctly remember you saying something about the musical, and then me saying, I really don't like coming out strong, being like, I'm not really a fan of that. I hate how corny the lines are. I think there's just too many very cringy lyrics that I just can't get past because there'll be a great beat, there'll be amazing rhythm going, and then all of a sudden it'll say some weird stuff. And I am fairly certain I've taken some really good notes on the craziest of lines, some of which where I was like, I don't even want to say that online. What if somebody takes that voice clip from me? Why is that even a
We're not
lyric?
that big. It's not going to happen.
That's
You're
true. That's
fine.
true. Just worried. Just worried.
You
But
could do quotes with your hands during it. So then I guess if people are
yeah,
listening on audio, that
somebody
won't
said.
help. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It doesn't save me at all.
Mm-mm.
But I really enjoyed the movie. I had a really, really good time with it, and I think it's because I heard so much bad press on how horrible it was. So I was going in, I was like, I'm gonna absolutely hate this. This is gonna be garbage. And so I didn't take it seriously, and it was a wonderful, easy watch. And honestly, Jenna Fisher, I thought she did good, but maybe that was nostalgic. So I was like, wow, it's Pam. And she looked like a very good mom to the caddy. I'm just saying, Katie. I'm using caddy
She
because I'm
did.
going by Janice. She
Golf
looked
bird.
like it was perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
just my personal opinion.
Maybe it's the lower expectations that maybe that
Maybe.
helped you. Maybe I am jaded. This is like I rewatched it for this, and it's like the fourth time I've watched it. And
Mm.
I've gone a little bit up and down. First time I watched it, I was mad, very disappointed. Because I actually really enjoyed the cast album. And so the fact that this cuts nearly half the songs from the stage musical was irritating to me. Um, because okay, back up. Getting into the what drove me crazy about it, which I will do more in depth later. I I was shocked when you told me you enjoyed this. I was like, I cannot wait for this recording because it is arguably a worse version of every song. It is besides Renee Rapp is amazing. I just
Oh yeah,
like she is the
I get.
her and I mean Katie Heron and Gory Rice is the weakest part of this movie in my opinion. Her voice is
Yeah,
not strong enough to hold up against some of these amazing like Broadway caliber
yeah,
singers. Like she has a fine voice, but it's never been more of a Regina George movie than this. Like Renee Rapp was front and center
agreed.
in all of the marketing for it, which Katie's supposed to be the main character,
Yeah,
and I get that. Regina George is the most iconic, and so I get that. But I was first familiar with Mean Girls from the original movie. I watched it. Um, I wasn't as young as you, but I didn't watch it in for the first time until I was older as well,
easy.
and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was clever as so many one-liners. Rachel McAdams is iconic in it as Regina George. I think it's arguably, besides maybe The Parent Trap, Lindsay Lohan's best movie. And so, and like, I think that's where I was first introduced to Amanda Seyfried as well, who is now doing so many things in like musicals. She was in Les Mis. She's in Lin-Manuel Miranda's new musical movie adaptation of Octet with some Broadway powerhouses. And so she can hold her own. And so I really enjoyed the movie and I really enjoyed the cast album. I really enjoyed it live on stage. And so many things about this movie just made me angry. So before we get into what didn't work and what made me angry, let's talk about what we enjoyed and what worked for us in this. So Sage, I will let you go first. I think you have more to say than I do, but I will let you go first. What did you enjoy?
I think I enjoyed the nostalgia of it, in the foremost, you know? It was very fun to kind of relive it all and see it in a different lens. I thought it was fun, but you have to also remember, I really loved the original movie, hated the music in the Mean Girls musical, so this was, like, just it wasn't stepping on the toes of the musical for me because I didn't appreciate it, which is fine, that's my own personal opinion.
It's
I
the
think there's
same
still
songs,
amazing.
just less of them. It's the
Yeah.
same songs,
No, you're right,
Sage.
but it was visually more fun. I understand. There was still plenty of problems for me where I was like, like I said, I wrote down where I didn't like certain lines, but I still found it overall a fun experience. Also, must say, I enjoyed this Aaron more. I didn't watch The Summer I Turned Pretty, but in all of my notes, I've called him Conrad Fisher. He's
I never watched The Summer I
not his
Turned
name.
Pretty either.
What? Okay, well, okay. But you know what I'm
I watched
talking
We Were
about.
Liars.
Aaron, is he in
Okay.
that?
No, I don't think so, but
Oh.
that's what I initially thought of when you said Summer I Turned Pretty, but
Oh, yeah.
and so that's why I
Aaron
mentioned
is
it. They
Conrad
seem
Fisher then.
similar to me, like
They probably,
young
maybe.
adult stories.
No, I love that. I thought he did great as Aaron. Loved it. That was fabulous. No, and like you said, Renee Rapp just dominates the screen. She's just really, really good. And I appreciated that because, like I said, I didn't get too far into the Mean Girls musical. So, like, getting the iconic lines again and getting, like, new ones, I enjoyed that. Because Mean Girls, the movie, was, like, so fun for, like, the one liners that you would always remember and have to, like, say to your buddies. I thought it was perfect.
Mhm.
But well, this movie wasn't perfect, but the iconic lines from both
The
movies,
original.
fabulous. Both.
Okay. I what worked for me, Renee Rapp's performance as Regina was great. I also liked it's a mixed bag. It's what some of what worked for me and didn't. I liked some of the modernizations with how they adapted the story to now. So it starts with a cautionary tale sung by Janice and Damien, and how it started like they're recording it on the phone and playing it almost like doing a TikTok. I thought that worked, and I thought that worked perfectly for Sexy. I thought that was really fun, and Avantika was great as Karen. Like Renee Rapp and Avantika as Regina and Karen. Those were the highlights of it. And also like Ali Carvalho and Jaquel Spivey as Janice and Damien. I thought they were also fantastic in their roles, and both of them very powerful voices. I think that's why um, most of Damien's songs are cut from this movie. And so while I don't love his songs, Jaquel Spivey has such an amazing voice. I was bummed that those songs were missing, even though I like Where Do You Belong and I have a list of all the songs that were cut in my notes. The bitter notes. So
Weird.
Where Do You Belong? And then he's heavily the main driver in Stop as well. But the fact that those were cut and he didn't have as many opportunities to shine worked for me. Um, I I liked the nostalgia with some of the lines, and I I think the songs are fun. My argument is they made them less fun in this because they stripped all the musical theater and heart out of them and made them more TikToky. They had even said that in interviews, like they wanted to update them for the TikTok generation. So the songs have more of that feel. And I feel like some of them are a little more stripped back, and it that didn't work for me. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. Uh, uh, I don't know what else worked for me. I think that's about it as for what worked for me.
Oh
Um,
man.
because I have a laundry list. What let's hear what didn't work for you, Sage. And
See,
maybe
this is
I
where,
will
yeah.
when we get into your lyrics and I will tell you why they should work for you. Why you're wrong.
First off,
Just kidding.
every single time there was a vertical camera, pissed me the hell off. I hated that. I know that was my personal opinion. I don't know what it made me so angry about it. Maybe just the fact that I had to look at that on my TV screen. I
I
feel like it
get that.
takes away, and I want a movie to feel like a movie. I don't want it to be switching back and forth. You know what I mean? It's not like it's breaking a fourth wall. It's just not a camera choice that I would personally make. Not something that I found very appealing to my eye.
That's fair. I think if they would
Mhm.
have stayed on it the whole song, like in
Yeah,
Sexy, it would have annoyed me. For the
yeah,
most part, it was done little short clips, and that's
yeah.
why like I saw what they were doing and it worked for me. But that's valid.
It
I
was
get
a
that.
bit cringy is my only thing. Every single time there was something like that, I felt like it was just I don't know. When I had problems with this, it was because it was making me cringe. Um,
Okay.
I don't like the line about I'm not gonna say the first part, but the little dog, I don't appreciate it. Do you know what I'm talking about? I can't say the first part. I refuse. It's in,
No, the little dog.
Regina's entrance. Um, no, I just don't want this first
Oh,
clip.
yeah.
It won't happen.
Hump her
You
leg
can
like
say
a chihuahua.
yep, yeah. I just I don't
That's what you didn't want
understand.
the voice clip of?
Yeah, I don't need that on mine. Thank you. But I
Okay.
did really like, Karen's line of, "That's my life goal, not to touch a tiger." Not to touch a tiger. I was like, "That's so real." And then later on, I was like, "I'm gonna start doing that because she was doing, like, super they were asking for very simple math. It was like, "If 30% of the calories are from fat, how much is that?" And Karen goes, "There's no way to know."
I
And I
do
went,
like that.
"God, I need to start doing that." It just when it's like today, I did the most simple math, and it took me a moment, and to the point where, like, one of the engineers looked at me because I was like, 140 minus 7, 133. And then they laughed at me for just a little, like, little second in there. I was like,
Yeah,
"It's
it's not that
about
much of a delay.
133. Calm down." Ay, ay, ay. But, what else? I have a question later on but I should keep it till then. I'm gonna pose it now, and then we'll answer it later on because my notes aren't in order. They won't be. Uh,
It's
if
okay.
we thought that, as they said, ex-boyfriends are off limits for your friends, which I personally believe is true. I think that's the messiest thing. There should be a list, but we're gonna get there. Not important.
We'll
Not
get there.
important.
Okay.
Oh, there's a line about a taco that I won't say, and you won't be able to get to that. I wish there was like a typing function. I can't do this. I'm sorry.
Is it which song is it in?
Apex Predator. Yeah.
Apex. Okay.
New.
I will
Okay, I'll
find it.
say the
You keep
first half.
talking.
The first half is new meat in your, and the end part is taco.
Okay.
What if I say it all separately? What if I said it in Pig Latin?
Mhm.
I've never been so dumb. No, it's okay. It's
Smell
okay.
your fear. Apex
I
Predator.
like
Lioness. Less
that.
fur. Do you think she's a lot like a lioness? On never mind. Nope. No, I'm not
No,
gonna go there.
no.
Okay. Keep going.
Maybe it's a line. It might not be a lyric. I might have just messed this up. But anyways, I do enjoy that they said that Regina's love language is anger. I thought that was beautiful. I cringed so hard at
Mm-hmm.
Caddy's very horrible flirting with Aaron. Do you like gum? And he goes, yeah, I'll take some gum. She goes, I don't have
Mm-hmm.
any.
I don't have
I thought that
any.
was so good. I thought that
Yeah.
was such a beautiful line. But it was
It's not in
just
the
so many
song.
moments.
So your
No, it's
beefs
not in
with
the
the
song.
songs
Yeah,
are
my beef is
about
sweet.
humping your leg like a chihuahua, which is a very common phrase for someone who's like obsessed and annoying.
How often do
Mm-hmm.
you hear that in your daily life? Who says that to you?
Once a month.
Once a month is not true.
I
I
say
don't
it to
believe that
people.
for you say that to
I'm
people?
kidding.
Never heard that.
No, I don't say that to people. I
Another
usually
great
don't bring
line.
up
I'm so
humping.
sorry. We're just going over more great lines when I'm supposed to say bad things because I have too many good things. Uh, when it's Gretchen's talking to her boyfriend in that. I don't remember who it is. They don't make the joke about like
Yeah.
Karen dating her cousin in this, do they? I wish they had. I really liked that. I thought it was a funny
Nope.
bit. Really funny bit.
Oh, so you don't
But
like hump your leg by like a chihuahua, but you enjoy incest jokes. Makes sense.
no, I enjoy that
Weird
Karen's just like,
boundaries, Sage.
we're not
Weird
really
boundaries.
cousins. We're first cousins. Like you have your second cousins, and then you have your cousins, and and I love I love that. I thought that was hilarious. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
inappropriate or making me cringe. I was just like, Karen, dumb. Gretchen and her boyfriend, when she asks him, do you ever think of me? And he
Mm-hmm.
goes, sometimes when I'm looking right at you.
When I'm looking right at you. Yep.
Sometimes when I'm
Yep.
looking right at you. And I go, wow, that's so real. That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think I overall just found it very cute. Would I say this is a movie I'll ever watch again? Maybe not. I won't die if I don't. But I enjoyed it for what it was. If I had to watch it 4 times, I would probably have a review like you do. But I didn't. I didn't do that to myself.
I felt like it after the first time. I felt like it after
That's
the first
crazy.
time.
That's crazy. Mm-mm.
It's not though. And when I lay out my case, the jury will find
Go ahead.
in my rule in my favor.
Okay.
Okay. First off, it annoys me when you are adapting a musical, which I get this has such a convoluted journey. Like it's a movie that was adapted into a musical and then they adapted the musical into a movie. So it's a convoluted, weird amalgamation, but I hate when they cut an insane number of songs and they're afraid to commit one way or another. If you want to do a remake of the movie, do that. If you want to make an adaptation of the musical, then commit to that and don't cut half the songs from the musical. This is the list of the songs that are cut. It Roars, which is the opening number Katie sings in the stage musical, which is replaced by What Ifs in this. It Roars is vastly better than What Ifs, partially because in What Ifs, they're trying to do call outs for later on in the show. Like she says, my limit does not exist in it.
Mm.
That's a line from the end of the fucking show. Why are we calling that out in the opening number? Whatever. I hated that. They cut
Nostalgia.
Where Do You Belong, which is when Damien is going over the different cliques and outlining the different school setup. There's a lot of fun lines in that. I felt like you probably thought they were corny. In Meet the Plastics, and they cut out Gretchen and Karen's verses, which are very funny and entertaining, and they only have it the Regina George intro. They cut Fearless, which is a great number by Gretchen. And they cut Stop, which I don't love Stop, but it's fine enough. Um, uh, they cut the reprise of What's Wrong with Me, which I actually really like that song that Gretchen sings. I think it's a very real song. They cut Whose House Is This, which is when everyone's partying and just trashing Katie's house. That's a fun song. They cut More Is Better, which is one of my favorite songs from this, and they switched it to just like spoken dialogue between Katie and Aaron because Christopher Briney, who plays Aaron, cannot sing, and so they cut that song,
He
which is
makes
a
up for
great
it with his
song.
hair.
Okay. But they cut that song, which is like the setup to Stars, to Icy Stars at the end, which they have her mention Stars some, but it wasn't as impactful. So boo there. The Fearless reprise is obviously cut. And then Do This Thing, they replace with a stupid, which is the like when they're at the mathletes competition, they replace with Stupid with Love reprise, which sucks. The reprise of Stupid with Love at the mathletes competition sucks. It's bad. It doesn't work well. The bad. I don't like it. So that's makes me mad. And then I'm just going through all my notes. Jenna Fisher, not great in this, in my opinion. I thought the line, and this is like, yes, I was homeschooled through high school. Yes, I think homeschoolers are weird as shit. I acknowledge that. This is not because it insulted me as a homeschooler, but the line when she's like, "Oh, where'd you go to school before?" And she's like, "Oh, I was homeschooled." After they said she was from Kenya, and Tina Fey's character is like, "Homeschooled? That's a fun way to take jobs from my union." Yeah, her being homeschooled in fucking Kenya is affecting your union. What the fuck are we doing here? And I did really enjoy this. I missed when we said what we liked because I forgot that I made notes of good things. When Damien said his French name was Fontaine from Les Mis, I thought that was funny. That was a good call out. Same when Damien at the talent show does the iCarly theme song in French, dramatic. I thought that was great.
That was amazing.
I hated, this is something I noticed the first time and then it really started bugging me. Every time Regina had a song, they switched the aspect ratio to a more widescreen, black bars, top and bottom. And so that made it feel more like a music video. So it more felt like a Mean Girls movie with Renee Rapp music videos plugged into it. And that annoyed me, especially during World Burn, where it would cut to her just with dramatic lighting in the hallway. And then it would cut to her singing while she was doing stuff. So mixing it between the singing directly to the camera, like putting on a show, to everything else and interacting. So that it just, to me, it made it feel like music videos cut into the movie, just another separation from the musical aspects from it, like not truly committing to it, I felt like, and more of being just the Renee Rapp show. The pop arrangement they did was Stupid with Love. vastly inferior to the Broadway version and arrangements, in my opinion, where they did more stripped down, almost a cappella ish at some points. I didn't care for that. Um, let's see what I have so many. This is a general lyric thing where you complain about the lyrics because there's the same on the Broadway one that annoyed me. That in Revenge Party they rhyme cake with cake.
Oh,
That
yeah.
you don't rhyme the same word with the same word. What are we doing?
This is what we're
Um,
working with.
mhm. I like I said, I really enjoyed. I think Avantika's version of "Sexy" was a lot of fun and entertaining. Just they did replace the lyrics though.
Mhm.
Originally on Broadway, they're where they're doing like a sexy Quinn from Sexy Jaws, and they're doing all the like sexy versions. They replaced "Sexy Rosa Parks" with "Sexy Joan of Arc," so they switched
Mhm.
that. Um, and I don't know if you noticed in Karen's TikTok stream, it says hashtag Halloween, but it was spelled wrong. Um, I thought that was funny. Um, the
Uh,
Someone Gets Hurt was another one that I really like. Renee's rap voice. I enjoy that song. The aspect ratio shift and how they had it choreographed made it just really feel like a music video. I hated that they took out I hated a lot. I hated that they took out the part
uh,
of when Regina and Shane Omen are cheating. Uh
mm,
in the like original movie, it's that they have sex in the costume.
in the mascot
And in the
costume.
musical, it's the same thing. It's like, no, they're both in the
Both in the
costume.
costume.
And how that's choreographed and on stage is hilarious.
Really
And so
funny.
they took out the costume completely
Yeah.
from this. I didn't
It's
like
just a
that.
closet.
Ooh, another highlight was when Karen said that Regina Zit was like a sexy, that it was sexy like a face breast. Made me
Oh, yeah.
laugh
Whoa.
so hard. That
Oh.
was hilarious. Um, I had the note them throwing Megan the Stallion in there
I
with
have
like
it.
when they're all
I was
reacting.
like, "Megan, what are you doing here?"
Well, she's on Broadway now. This was her first poll.
She's wow. Good, 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 good.
Yeah. Yeah, she's in
I
Moulin
can't believe
Rouge
I
as
forgot about
Zidler.
this. The elf product placement was insane. There was just too much going on.
There was a
It
lot of
was
product placement.
yeah. Yeah. Felt a little overwhelming. Felt a
Mhm.
little goofy. A little bit of a sellout, but
Yeah.
this is I mean, I was already like, "Okay, this is kind of I know what I'm getting into. I know what this is.
Yeah.
This is"
Yeah.
you're like the 3rd iteration of the first original movie. I'm already like, "Yeah, okay." I know that we're
Yeah.
just trying to get as much money as we can out of this. Actually, that's not true. They have a Mean Girls too, don't they? There's a movie.
I
There's a
think they
second movie,
did,
yeah.
but it has none of the original
No, none of
cast.
the original. It doesn't
And
I don't
I
know that
don't
it
think
has
it's from
anything
Tina
similar.
Fey. Maybe it is. I
Yeah.
don't know. I
So it's like the 4th.
yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't and like I had a note here towards them, like them
Mhm,
cutting both Whose House Is This and More Is Better. So both of the songs at Katie's house party just really
mhm,
cemented for me like the fact that they don't want it to feel like a musical. It is a
mhm.
movie with music videos
Music.
cut in.
Yeah.
Um and so uh when they're doing their confessionals and you get the iconic she doesn't even go here. Um uh you get that iconic moment that
Mhm.
when there was they did like the meta fourth wall breaking, like I'm sorry I said you were dragging during Revenge Party, like that whole part. I'm like, what? I Who is
Yeah.
that for? That was not funny, unnecessary. But my final comments, like I didn't like the arrangement of I'd rather be me in this as much, which I like. I'd rather be me. I like Alicia Carvalho. The I didn't like any of the new arrangements really, except sexy worked. And I did like Something Gets Hurt musically. That worked. That one, the
Mhm.
little more almost like spooky vibes with it. I liked.
Mhm.
It made it a little bit more intense. Those two I liked, but the rest, boo,
Mhm.
boo.
Mm.
Those are all my
Mm.
reasons. Counterpoints. I brought more receipts and evidence to my argument on why it
That's
sucked
true. I'm
versus
just going off
yours on why
vibes.
it was
Like
good.
I said, I think as long as you take this as just a lighthearted, goofy, kind of money grab of a just that's fine. Then once you're in that mindset where you're like, this is not something I can take seriously or look at through any artistic sort of lens, then it was fine. Then it was good. It was even nice. My last note is just overall pretty cute. I didn't take it seriously at all, and that's
And I
exactly how
think
you
that's what you
should
texted
watch it.
me.
That's what you have to watch. That's how. Yeah, probably. I was like, I thought it was pretty cute.
I
I do enjoy. I laugh at how crazy. I feel like the fashion this go around was not as like true to the time. You know what I mean? I felt like it was
yeah,
very out there, very avant garde. But I also my biggest point that I was mad about in the first like, one of the first sequences, it shows the lunch that they get. I want you to know, Matt, public school lunch, not that good.
no,
It was never. I think looked at it, I wrote it down, I was like, "Lunch looked too good to be a real American public school lunch. Impossible."
nice.
And that's how I felt. I felt like it wasn't it's not a true to life in any way. It felt weird. Also, I have a funny note of how weirded out I was by how much leather Renee Rapp is wearing in her first entrance. And then on her
So much
tray,
leather.
just cheesy fries.
Yep, just cheesy fries, just
How would
carbs.
it possibly yeah, no one's gonna let that happen. When you go through the lunch line, they would always be like, "And you have to grab a fruit."
Well, they're all scared of her, so even
Yeah, I
the
get
teachers.
that's
Um,
true.
I don't remember if it's in the original movie because it's been a long time I did that. But after the drama and the PE teacher, when he's talking, he's like hormones, WHO. John Hamm as the teacher. I'm like, oh,
Oh, that's good.
um, yeah. Oh, they also updated some of the lyrics to make it. I think it was because they said in I saw in an interview, I could be making this up. They changed it to Janice being a pyro les. That was something different in the original musical, and so they changed that
Mm,
as well in that whole story. It was kind of entertaining when Damien is telling the story with the little stuffed animals.
that is cute.
But I I think I get what you're saying. And I mean, let's be honest. Um, Audiences like moving forward, they will find more points to relate to with this than the 2004 one. Like I think I sent it in a text to you, or maybe I was thinking or said it to someone else. Um, the original movie is very millennial coded, I feel
Mhm.
like.
Yeah.
Um, and this is a little more Gen Z coded.
Yeah.
Like it just is, in my opinion, as a millennial. And I think what bothered me the most is because I did appreciate the musical so much, and this just felt like they didn't want to commit to making it a musical. They just didn't want as much accusations of it being a cash grab by rebooting it. Because Tina Fey even
Mhm.
said saw this as an opportunity to update some of the references and everything.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, well, what's a way for us to kind of differentiate it? We incorporate some of the songs from the musicals, and they got to capitalize on Renee Rapp's
Mhm.
popularity at that time too. Because like this came out in 2024, that's what I was seeing Renee Rapp everywhere. I don't see as much of her anymore, um,
Yeah.
but that's also because that's not who I follow and stuff. So, but I feel like when
Not my
this was
group.
coming out, everything I was seeing was Renee Rapp.
Yeah.
And also Megan the Stallion featured in her and Renee Rapp do one of the songs in the credits.
Mhm.
So there is
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
But I'll still be friends with you, even though we
I
have different
appreciate it.
opinions on this.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it makes me question your like judgment a
Mhm.
little bit.
Thank you.
Um,
Yeah,
but I'll just base that on you being 2 when the original movie came out. Um,
that's true. Yeah.
but I just excuse me. I've had a cough for like a month straight. I'm so
Oh,
over it.
no.
Um,
Ay, ay, ay.
when you said that when I knew that you didn't care for the musical, and then you're like, "I like this. It was cute." I was like,
You're
"But
pissed off?
how? It's the
Yeah.
same songs,
No,
but
I totally
worse
agree.
and
Yeah,
less."
yeah. Mhm, mhm. I think
It's just the
the
visual
best way
aspect.
I think it I hold a musical to higher standards than I would hold this. I wouldn't even describe as, like, a sequel to the original movie. I would describe it as basically what I said, just a money grab. I think that's fair in my opinion, because it's not doing anything new. Like you said, it's just breaking down what's worked and was like, "Okay, how do we do it again?" A musical, I'm gonna hold that to higher standards because I want it to be something where I can actually, like, feel what's going on, relate to the lyrics. I have trouble with the lyrics in the musical because every 5 seconds, my brain just goes, "Oh, I wish they hadn't said that." It'll be doing so well, it'll be a great beat, it'll be amazing, beautiful, and then all of a sudden it just says something so out of pocket that I cannot stay in it. And so, like, I don't know that I've listened hey, coming clean. Don't know that I've listened to the Mean Girls musical all the way through. I bet I've stopped. Because I
You know
can't
what?
get
I
through the
think you should do.
lyrics.
But
Probably have
those
watched it, but
lyrics were in this movie, Sage.
I know,
The
and I
lyrics are
got
in
mad
this
about
movie.
it too, but I was taking it in as, like, "I'm not gonna like this. It's gonna be cringy." I went into it, and my hopes were on the floor, and I was like, "Oh, it's not too bad." It came up to, like, ground floor. I
Okay.
was like, "It could've been worse." I was expecting worse.
Got out of the basement.
Yeah, it got out of the basement.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
All
on the
right.
ground floor,
Uh,
but that's it.
okay. Um, fun fact. This I am using because it is pink, my
Yes.
pink coffee mug. Um, but I do feel like an alcoholic because I do have whiskey in it. Um, but not because I'm hiding it, just because I wanted
'Cause it's
to
pink, 'cause it's pink.
accentuate the pink.
It
Mhm.
looks a lot more
This
red on
card,
camera.
pink. I just noticed I have my signed Ed Sheeran album is pink. It's sitting here.
Oh,
Mhm. Mhm. So I got pink things in my office.
it is
Sage, do you have
strict.
any final thoughts that you want to make on this movie?
My final thoughts would be if I would say it might be in my best interest to listen to the full cast album for the musical. I think I'd have to do it in small doses, but I could understand how it would very much bother me if, like, one of my favorite musicals was suddenly turned into a movie. Somebody just sang through most of the good songs
Yeah.
and then cut out anything with heart in it, you know? I would also feel like somebody had taken a hatchet to something that I loved.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just didn't
I
happen for me.
I think that's my my biggest thing is because I enjoyed the stage musical and I've been vocal on here that I think we need more musical pro shots and just musical movies in general. Like I long for
Mhm,
that. And so then when they adapt one and they strip all the musical theater elements out of it
mhm.
and it seems like they don't really want to commit to making it a musical, that hurts my musical fan heart. And so
Yeah,
I think that's what it is. I think it was because I think they had an opportunity to make the musical more accessible to more people, to get more people into it. Instead, I feel like if you were, well, I don't know. If you were a fan of the movie and you went to go see the musical, I don't know if you would be disappointed or enjoy it because
mhm.
in my opinion, the stage musical is vastly better. And I can like I can respect what you're saying. Like the visual aspect does add a whole other layer to things and appreciation. Like I've talked on here before that there's been musicals that I haven't been able to get into the cast album originally, and then seeing it on stage has just unlocked something new and a whole new appreciation and made me finally see, oh, okay, that's what they were saying. That's the emotion, and kind of made something click. Like Hades Town was one of those for me. Like I had tried to listen to the cast album and had struggled to get into it. And then when I saw it live, it became one of my favorites that I've seen live, and just one of the my most listened to cast albums. So I think having that experience of watching something, it triggers something in your brain too. There's other things that can click, and something else for you to focus on and appreciate rather than just the lyrics. So I can respect that. But this movie made me irrationally mad. Like I know
No, I
that
think it was
I'm
very
irrationally mad.
rational. I think it was very rational. Like I said, if I had cared for the Broadway album the same way, I would probably be just as mad. It's just I did not take this as seriously when I went into the movie, because I wanted to see if everybody else was correct in giving it, just trashing on it. So when I went in just kind of like giddy to see what it was going to be like, I was happy with it. I was fine with the outcome. And also, if I don't like the songs and there's less songs,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. My
That's fair.
reaction makes sense. Your reaction makes sense. We've both come to a
That
logical
makes sense.
conclusion in a different way, and that's okay.
That's right.
That's all right.
And
Yes.
people, it's okay to have different opinions and
Yes.
still be
Yes. Yes.
friends.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Unless you're racist, then
That's
fuck you.
all. Yeah. Some
Mhm.
opinions. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well.
Yeah. And I'll say that. You can clip that. I'm not
Clip
afraid to
that.
have things clipped. Like Sage.
I'm irrational.
Um You're like, "Oh no, what if someone
What
listens
if someone
30 minutes
takes that?
into this podcast and
They might.
they're
They
doing it
might.
just so they can go out and get me and clip me
Yeah.
saying the word
They're
hump?"
gonna come to work. They'll be like, "Did you see this? Sage said that."
Okay,
I'm imagining.
I
Do you know? Hey, picture
my
for me real
job,
quick.
I need to be more careful about my job than you do for yours.
Don't think so. You have a manager position. Yes, that makes sense. But I feel like HR, you have to be a
Yeah,
little
we're not
careful.
gonna get into it
We're not gonna argue
because
about it. It's okay.
we're not gonna dox employers, but I feel like that
Oh
factors
yeah, that
into things
adds
as
to it
well.
in a certain way. I guess you're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
But okay, fine. Well, Sage, thank you for joining. You know what? I was thinking there's a comp for you, even though you already said that you can see it from my point of view. Like, what if Hades Town turned into
I
a
was just
movie
thinking of
and they
that.
cut
I was just
they
when I was
cut
like, take a
epic
hatchet to the
1 and
thing that I
2.
love.
They only have epic 3. And they cut, yeah. See?
I was thinking about this when you said that. I was like, what would they have to take a hatchet to for me to have this kind of response? And I went, what would I do if they had Hades Town and they were just like, you know what? We're going to put this on the city streets and we're going to change everything about it, and it's going to have a different setting,
Yeah.
and also everybody's going to talk sing. I wouldn't be able to watch it. I know that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
watch it 4
Yeah.
times. I know that. No, you're
That
absolutely
being
right.
said,
Yeah.
I did enjoy this. The second time I watched it was on a plane, and it was an enjoyable, fun watch on the plane because I was only like kind
No
of paying
cares
attention.
watch.
I got some of the
Exactly.
songs.
That's the
That's
way
right.
you should do it. That's the best way to watch this. I have to come back to my question though. In it, they say that
Yes, sorry.
ex-boyfriends are off limits. Ex-boyfriends are off limits. I personally do believe that's true. I think, and I understand Caddy is kind of saying that she's pretending to be a friend to Regina. Okay.
Correct.
I
But then
still stand by this, but I also understand, but they go to a bigger school. There should be more men. Like, in my school, what you know, I was just gonna make a joke, I was like, "Or like your school?"
Yeah. Ugh.
Nothing. Like,
Well,
there's no other
but
like, there were so many
but
more options. I don't
I
know.
mean, my brother's married to my ex-girlfriend. Now,
I
was it a
know, I
serious
know.
relationship? No. But like, so it was an issue at my school. But
It's just to me, it's
it wasn't a
not
serious relationship,
being a
but
girl's girl.
yeah.
Caddy is not a girl's girl in that sense. I hope that you're getting angrier every time I call her Caddy. I think it's just that's how I think of the name
No, no, I like
because
it.
I think it's fun.
The caddy,
It's
that's
fun.
what Janice
Somebody
calls
has
her,
to call her
and
Caddy.
Kevin
Yeah,
G
Janice calls her Caddy.
Kevin
Kevin
G
G.
calling her golf bird. I like that. Like, so
I like it. I
it
do
does not
enjoy
bother
it.
me you called her caddy.
Uh, I don't think that's I don't know. That's a point that I don't think it bothered me watching the initial movie or listening to the musical, but I think in this, for some reason, it, like, clicked with me where I was like, "No, that's messed up. No, maybe that was" but, like, not to say that Regina's a good person in
Right.
any sense of the word.
Right.
She's cheating on that ex once she lies to get back with him, says that Caddy is
Yeah.
crazy, and then cheats on him still. So, like, there's a lot of bad there are not many girls in this movie except Janice. In my opinion, not too
A
bad.
little bit
Not
Karen.
a little bit
I
Karen.
can make the argument for Karen, I think. Because
I could see that.
Karen texts Katie, and I forget what the text said, but she's like,
Mhm.
she said something that she spelled or said wrong. But no, I think I tend to agree with you. I think the biggest problem is the sneaking and keeping it secret. Like, she
Yeah.
knew that it was wrong, and really, it's the lack of open and honest communication. I think there's things that
That's the issue.
it depends on the situation, and ultimately, regardless of what it is, as long no, I'm not gonna just say blanket regardless of what it is, but in a lot of situations,
Yeah.
if you have an open and honest communication and you listen and respect the other person's thoughts and feelings, then it can be okay.
Yeah.
So there are situations where it can be okay. It's like, yeah, we honestly figured out we work better as friends.
Mhm.
Um, if you guys have something there, go for it.
Mhm.
If you're like, no, I think it'll be weird and uncomfortable for me, you say that, you're
Yeah.
honest, and the other person has to accept that and respect that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Or you accept that I don't give a fuck about this friendship and what they say. I'm going to do what I
Yeah,
want and what makes me
you've
happy.
gotta choose.
Which,
I think there should
if
just
that's
be
your
some
choice,
things off the table. Yeah, that's your
fair
choice.
enough.
Yeah, but at least there's an open communication there. You're right, you're right. This could be saved by open communication. I just feel like the girl
That's right.
code is probably you shouldn't go after your friends' exes. You shouldn't have go after your own exes. Coworkers and friends.
Well,
Those should
yeah.
be off the list at all times. I I don't know.
Friends?
That's
You
I
think
think so.
friends should be off
I
the
think
list?
that
Because I
ruins
think
it.
a lot of times some of the best. I think it
You're
depends.
right,
Because
you're
I
right.
think
In most instances, though, this is the silliest conversation, a little off topic.
it,
I think in most instances, there's always that chance that it's not gonna work out. There's a higher chance, actually, that it's not
oh,
gonna work out.
100%.
So going for your
Mhm.
friend, bad idea. It's a bad idea because it might ruin the friend group. Who are you gonna choose in the divorce? Every time I've known somebody who went after one of their friends, they were like, "Yeah, I thought it was gonna be the best thing ever," and now I just don't think about the times that we dated. I just have to think about when we were friends, and, like, that was good, and now I don't talk to them at all.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's what it is. Like, if you're going to pursue a friend, you have to
Yeah.
be it has to happen organically. It can't be forced, and you need to, if you're going to pursue that, you need to be okay with losing the friendship and any associated
Ugh.
friends. So
I just
what
don't.
do you
Mm-mm.
value most? Is it them as a friend, or is it you truly think that
Mhm.
romantic spark and feelings are there, and that's worth risking it.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
to your point, 99% of the time,
It's not.
not going to be a great call.
No,
It's
I
not
think
going to be
that's true.
worth it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's what we learned from movies like No Strings Attached and Friends with
Um,
Benefits.
yeah.
Never
Yeah.
works.
It never
Never
worked.
works. But in The
But
Office, Pam and Jim, friends.
but there's that
But
moment where they're not friends and it doesn't and they're having all these problems and you think it's not gonna work out. They're like the 1%. There's
that's
gonna be
true.
1% where it does work for people, sure. But
Well,
they had
and
to not
even
be
then,
friends
it
for a
slightly
really long time,
lopses.
and then they worked their way back
Yeah,
to each
that's
other.
the arguments that they're actually the villains of the show because Jim just
What?
being like friends with her. Jim did not really respect her
No.
relationship.
Her engagement? Absolutely
And
not. He did
so
not care.
Jim kind of the villain.
Yeah.
Um some people say Pam emotionally cheated with the sound guy in the
Yeah,
later
that was a
episodes.
weird
I don't know that I buy into
storyline. I
that,
didn't like
but
that, yeah.
it was an unnecessary storyline in my
An
opinion.
unnecessary
Um
storyline, yeah.
mhm. Yeah. But okay, we've
Sorry.
gone. Do you have any other random kind of
Oh, well.
connected questions?
Good question. Good question, good question. I don't think so. I don't think there's anything else crazy that brought, you know, it got me thinking at least.
Have you
I
ever stabbed a friend in the back? Confession
Have I
time.
ever stabbed a friend in the back? I don't think that I have.
That's fine.
Uh, I'm trying to think real hard. But I choose to believe that I am a good friend. I don't have to text every one of my friends to see if I have stabbed anyone in the back and if they knew. But I
Mm.
don't think so. I don't in my heart of hearts, I'm pure of heart and I have only good intentions. Do you think that you've stabbed someone in the back?
No, I
A
usually
friend?
do it to people's faces.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Even though I'm not confrontational, most of the
Mhm.
time, if I have a problem, I'm going to say it to them
Mhm. Mhm.
instead of just talk shit behind their back.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause that
That's
would
the
be
easiest
rude.
way to do it.
So you
Yeah.
talk shit to their
Oh, well,
face.
I've gotten a lot better at the let them theory, where you're supposed to just, like if someone's mean to you, you're not supposed to really tell them. You're supposed to just allow them to do that and then react however you want, you know? So that might be
It's
just
fair.
leaving them alone. So that's not, which I think is a smart way to do it. Not something that comes natural to me personally. I love
That's
to
fair.
have control of every situation that I can.
Mhm.
But
My
but
choice is I just tell people when they do something, I'm like, "Are you happy with that decision?" Well, that was a
oh,
choice. I
no,
don't
that's good.
actually, but I think I'm going to. That's what I was inspired to say in
I
the moment, and so I think maybe I'm gonna do that.
I think that's really good. I've
Mhm.
also seen something where, like, if someone says something very rude to you, obviously trying to, like, just poke at you, you're supposed to say, "What did you say?" And, like, have them repeat it, and then you go, "And what was the reason for that?" Like, "What's your
Mhm.
reasoning behind that?" Which I think is very smart. I think I'm a very honest friend, and sometimes it's can it it can be a little brutal. But I think everybody needs that at times. I would much rather have an honest friend than a friend who's just gonna yes man me, you know?
Oh,
I think
100%.
I'd have like yeah, yeah,
I think yes men are the most dangerous types of friends.
probably, yeah.
Like, and to me, there's a difference between a hype man and a yes
Mhm.
man,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Like
absolutely.
like
Yes, yes, yes.
someone who will ride or die for you is someone
Mhm.
who will also tell you how it is.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's an honest friend. Like they can still
Mhm,
hype you up and pick you up when you're low, but they're not going to just say yes or act like
mhm.
everything you say is the best thing
Enable you.
ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's not a good friend. That's setting someone
No.
up for failure. That's
Yeah. Actually
you're
horrible.
yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, great conversation about friendship. Um,
What's
what do you
allowed,
think
what's
is your
not.
best trait as a friend? We're
My
gonna
best
keep
trait.
it going. Best
I
trait as
think
a friend.
that my best trait as a friend is my loyalty. Through like you said, you wanna be a hype man, but you wanna be honest. I have 2 friend stories to prove this. One of them
Okay.
is I have a buddy who he'll always separate people into his hype man and his haters, and I've been
Nah.
placed in the haters because he
Wow.
goes, well, it's because he goes, some people, because he goes, some people will always say yes and like be up for anything that I say. And there are people who, when I say a crazy idea, they go, hey, I need you to think about that. I do understand what you're saying to us right now. You need to actually like put your brain to what's going on and
Mhm.
fully flesh out what you're talking about. He goes, "Yeah, you fit into that one." And I appreciate that. I need an even balance between the two. I think that's good. And so I'm very proud to be at least a voice of reason. I think that
There you
everyone
go.
needs that. Second one, I had a friend who I love very dearly. She's very sweet. We were roommates in college, and she went through a very, very messy breakup with her best friend. She dated her best friend,
Mm.
and it was, like, for 2 years, and then, of course, me and him did not get along. I felt he was a bit of a bigot, and we
Mm.
would often say he would often say things that were just didn't show any empathy for people who were not just like him. So we didn't get along, and he would say it often, that I was a bitch, which is fine. I think that I would much rather be that than, complicit with whatever was going on.
Mhm.
So, when they broke up, I was still we have this thing, me and my friends, if you get broken up with, it is your birthday. For a whole week, for a whole month, you get to kinda choose what we do, where we go out to eat, we do whatever you want. It's your birthday, you choose what you do. If you break up with someone, it's still sad, but it's less sad. So it's like your half birthday. You get to choose what we do for, like, a day or 2.
Nice.
It's your call. And she would like I said, this was a messy situation. They went back and forth for a little bit, and so, like, when she would tell me things, I would go, "Okay, so do you feel like that one day where you guys got back together, it was, like, something that was good for you? Or, like, now that you're on a break again, is this now a problem?" She'd be like, "No, I feel like we're gonna get back together." I go, "Hey, so I want you to treat this break like a break up." I was like, "Maybe you shouldn't be wearing that little bracelet that says his name on it. Maybe we should take some small steps to finding our independence back." And you know what? I loved her through the breakup. We got through it, and she's totally great now. She's healed, and she'll always be like, she's like, "You know what? I think in your 20s, you should stay single. I think that's really good for a woman to be for a while, to just figure it out." We got there. It just took patience. And I think, like I said, the loyalty of it, it saw us through, but my God, were there moments.
I bet. I bet.
With everyone, with everyone. What do you think is your best trait as a friend?
Um,
As a friend.
I would say, like, well, first off, I think yours were very astute observations. I think about
Evidence.
yourself,
Yeah.
good self-aware, good receipts that you brought. This damn cough. Um, I was gonna say for you, I think it's I see that also like communication and
Mm,
accountability. Because that's one of my pet peeves with friends when they're
mm.
constantly making excuses for themselves and stuff like
Yeah,
that. And I have never experienced you doing that.
I appreciate
For
it.
me, I would say I think I am a pretty dependable friend
Mhm.
and a good listener. Um,
Yeah.
it's sometimes to my detriment or maybe to other people's chagrin. Like I feel like I'm constantly like the ones initiating conversations with
Mm.
friends or checking in on them, trying to
Yeah.
keep the friendship going or stay in touch. Um, it's harder like when I'm 33 now. And a lot of friends are having kids, things like that. Those friendships are very hard to maintain. So having to also accept that sometimes you're not going to be at the same point of your life
Yeah.
as those people and they've got new priorities like the lives they are responsible for and raising, and they're
Mhm.
you may not have as much in common with friends anymore. um but just learning to identify that, accept it, but still, I've always been someone who's there if someone needs to talk or
Mhm.
wants to reach out or vent, that I will let someone vent, and I will usually be like, "Hey, so do you want me to just listen, or do you want like feedback, advice? What's going to be best for you in this moment?" At some point, I think we should revisit the advice and feedback thing, but maybe right now you're
Mhm.
not ready
Yeah.
for that. And so, what do you need in this moment? Um,
Mhm.
I think I've always been pretty good at that.
Mhm. I would
So,
agree. I think, like you said too, the skill of knowing that what you wanna say is not always what other people need to hear in that moment
mhm.
is one of the most important, skills that not everybody masters. I don't
Yeah.
think everybody knows that,
Mm-mm.
but it's a very I've noticed that too with you. I think you do very well with that trait. It
Thank
does
you.
well.
Thank you.
Mhm.
This was my
Helps
elaborate
you
setup
yeah.
for you to tell me
You just
that
wanted
I'm a good
compliments.
friend. That was it. Yeah. It took a lot of work to get there. I had to just listen to you
And I
yapping
had to
about
ask you to
yourself for
watch the
so
Mean
long.
Girls movie, and we had to talk about it for an hour, but I
It
got
was an
exactly
elaborate
what I
plot.
wanted.
That's actually my strength, is scheming and
Uh,
setting up my
one
friends.
of my favorite hobbies is getting to talk about your you know how you it's so much fun playing those little games where, like, you just get to answer questions about your friends, just prove that you know them.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh my god, my favorite brand of game.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well,
Ugh.
I think that's a good place to stop it. Sage,
Mhm.
thank you for joining. Um, People in the comments down below, tell us your thoughts. And when you tell us your thoughts on the movie, say what other versions of Mean Girls you have seen, because I think that is important
Yeah.
qualifying data. Um,
Mhm.
so as always, like, follow, share, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. At Down Once More Pod on Instagram. You can search Down Once More Pod on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, all of that fun stuff. Tell your friends, tell your family if they're cool. Spread the word. We're over 200 subscribers on YouTube. Had first video go over 120,000 views on YouTube. So now I am like committed. I feel like I have to contractually now do Love Island reviews again. So that those will be coming this summer. Next week's pod will be a preview of what's coming to streaming and theaters in May. So make sure you tune in for that. And I'll give my watch report of what I have watched in April as well. Sage, do you have any final thoughts you want to leave the people with?
I
Piece
think
of
the
advice works
the
too.
last piece of advice is to just not take anything too seriously. I think that is the best way at the moment to go about life.
Feels
Don't take it too
targeted.
seriously.
Feels
No,
targeted. Uh,
everyone.
hmm, hmm,
That's my last
Was
piece of
that a
advice.
dig? Is that
No.
your honesty coming through, Sage? um, all right.
Ah,
Well, thank you once again for joining. Thank
thank you.
you once again for all of you for tuning in. Love y'all. Have a great week. Don't forget to go down once more. Later. Okay, now Sage.
Ah.
I need to keep the mic here. You have the opportunity because I take screen caps from the recording for the thumbnail. Do you want to make a specific face for the thumbnail or your
I
thumbnail
think
image?
it's so much fun when you just pick a funny one. It's
Okay,
so
that's
silly.
fair.
I had this a
That's
good
fair.
time, and I don't want to make it ingenuine. I want it to be as real. Those are my real emotions going on in the podcast itself.